after a couple days to digest it, I mean, how would you grade your offensive line's performance on Saturday?
Well, I would probably give us a C, maybe a C plus. I was really proud of the effort. I was proud of them, really, honestly, from start to finish. Okay, and everything didn't go perfectly. The one thing that we talked about going into that game was that there was going to be some adversity and that this week's game will be the same as last week's game. And then the one after that and the one after that. There's momentum swings for both sides, and you just you have to not get too high, you can't get too low, and you got to keep rolling. And I was proud of our kids that way. Nobody flinched. And that's not just my group, that's everybody on offense, and I'm sure defense was the same way. But, I thought nobody flinched, and I told them I was extremely proud of the effort. We gave up 14 pressures, and the bulk of those were really between two guys. And most of those happened later in the game. So, we were responsible for one sack. But I told them going in, I told them on Saturday morning, actually Friday night, to me, pressures, if you have too many pressures, it's worse than really getting a sack because it causes the ball to be hurried, causes bad throws, it causes bad decisions, and that's really the piece. That's a huge piece of it that we have to correct.
When you were seeing those pressures, were you seeing guys getting beat physically? Were you seeing mental or assignment mistakes, or was it a combination of both?
No, we came out of that game, as far as mental errors, and I was really happy with this. We came out, I think, with 4. And two were really kind of minor, but Snowden got us on. When he straight rushed us outside, we had him locked up pretty well. They try to twist him inside, and that's really where they got us. We forced the switch on the twist, pretty well, but not well enough, and Gabe was late a couple of times on him. Carter Warren got caught on one on a twist. In the fourth quarter that I specifically remember. That's a really easy one to pick up, and I really wanted to. He played, I played the same 5 guys the entire game. I felt like at that point in time, and that was toward the end, I felt like he was tired, and I wished I could have gotten Van Lin in there earlier in the game, but that thing was such a shit show early that I didn't want to risk putting new guys in at that point in time. So I think, part of that was on me because I just felt like Carter Warren was really kind of gassed at that stage of the game. But no, I mean, Nolan Ulizio got beat on one, Carter got beat on one early, where Kenny it looked like he had all day, and then the guy, Carter was on the right, the guy kind of shook loose late. I think we completed the pass, but still a pressure for me. So, but very few mental errors, and we have to clean up that part of the game.
Dave, how much did inexperience play into the mistakes that you saw?
I got to be honest with you. I don't really think that inexperience really factored in. We ran the first wide zone. We ran. The left Carter Warren missed the cut on the 3 technique. Which was a hard cut. Okay, but that's not really inexperience. That's just speed of the game. And I didn't really feel that. On a couple of twists that they hit us on. It was just it was 11 being really fast, and again it's really speed of the game, and you don't know what that speed is as a player until you experience it. So, check that box, and now we're good, hopefully.
Yeah, you had talked, Dave, about most of those pressures coming late. What do you think were the reasons for that? And how much do you think fatigue maybe played a factor?
How much what played a factor?
Fatigue.
I don't know. I don't think a lot. The only one I really felt that on was Carter's. I don't really think it was fatigue. It was really kind of the flow of the game too. We were down and we really couldn't run it at that point. To score enough points to get back in the game, so we had to throw it a lot. So it's obviously a little bit easier for the defense when they know they can tee off, and at that stage of the game, just the flow of the game and where we were, that's what we had to do. So, you get enough opportunities defensively, you're gonna have a chance to do that. So, we have to use our hands better. We have to move our feet better. I had no busted protections, which was good. so it was a good learning experience. And frankly, I think it's going to be just like it was a year ago. It's going to be on the job training here for a couple of games until they get used to the speed of the game. We saw some looks that they had not shown before. That caused some pressures, and I know conceptually now they completely understand it, and that caused some pressure. So that's on me too. We tried to make the adjustment in the game, and just didn't translate for us. But no, I don't think fatigue was a big factor. Actually, my hat's off to Dave Andrews and his staff down there, because those kids went. Those linemen had 73 snaps, 73 gradable snaps, and the most they had in a scrimmage up to that point, which is pretty standard, was about 50. And I thought they were in really good shape. I mean, I was prepared to put Van Lin and Cradle or Chase Brown or somebody in, but it was such a tight game, and everybody was bright-eyed on the sideline, and I felt good about where they were physically. So it was like, let's ride.
Dave, under the circumstances, is your grade of C+ to be expected, or are you a bit of surprise that it wasn't better?
Well, no, I wanted it to be better, obviously. I was looking for an A, and I know they were too. I thought Jimmy Morrissey played an excellent game. I thought Bryce Hargrove played an excellent game. So, talk about those two guys, they've got some experience, so that kind of translates. But, no, it's really not what I expected, and we've got to learn from it and get better. But I'm not discouraged at all. I love that room. I love those guys, and I think this will be a good step-off point for us to really grow and take a big jump forward here.
You mentioned some of those backups, and I mean, do you think that's going to be in the game plan this week to maybe get some more guys some playing time and moving forward?
I guess that depends on the score, how tight a game it is. So right now, I'm really not even thinking of it in that regard, because this Ohio defense is they're pretty salty. So we'll see how it goes. Virginia obviously had a good defense too, but a lot of it depends on the flow of the game. We were 3 and out. It's like, okay, let's. I wasn't ready to make a substitution at that point. We had. I'm kind of going off on a tangent, but we had the 15-play drive for the touchdown. And I thought, okay, I'm going to have to make some subs here, or put some subs in. And shit, those guys were awesome. I mean, usually in the first game of the year, everyone's, breathing like rhinos, and sucking down water. Those guys they just came, sat on the chairs, and like, what do you got for me? So I don't know. It really just depends on the flow of the game.
You mentioned Ohio. What stands out as you're watching tape of the Bobcats?
Well, they're a lot like our defense. They're really they're an up the field team. They're aggressive. They're a 4-3 operation. They pressure you a lot. They're really an interior pressure team. The way that they line the defense up, they try to funnel everything back to the linebackers, and then they pressure inside, and they have plenty of perimeter pressures as well. So there's a lot of moving pieces in the defense, and number 43. I never try to learn names. Snowden's the only guy I know, because I just get locked in on numbers. But 43 is a heck of a player. 50, I think, is a really good player. He's listed, I think, as a backup, but played quite a bit in the Rhode Island game. 34 can run like a deer. 35, same way. He's their Sam linebacker. The defensive ends are very athletic. So, and they come off the ball, and they do a good job. They do a good job stopping the run, and they do a great job of pressuring you.
When it came to the running game, I think on the yards per carry average, it looked pretty okay, but there were a lot of times where you're saying you got behind and down in distance and ended up in 3 and out. How do you feel like that can be better going forward?
Well, we've got to be more efficient on first and second down, whether we run it or whether we throw it. And obviously if we throw it, we need to catch it, and if we run it, we need to be more efficient. And if you take Kenny's carries out of there, because he was really our leading rusher on scrambles, there were I think 60. I think the tailbacks had 15 carries for 61 yards. So my quick math tells me that's like 4.1 a carry. But I'm not really into average, and I told my guys early in the week, I'm not, we talk about getting 4 yards on first down, and that's good. but I'm into like, 20 and 30 and 40-yard games. That's what I'm used to. That's what I'm used to seeing. And we need to do a better job of finishing blocks. We need to do a better job on our wide zone on the backside of finishing those blocks. And, and really it comes down to, down efficiency. We ran the power in there for 8 yards, and which was good, and came back with the exact same play. It was 2nd and 2, and picked up 3. Got a first down out of it. So that was a good little series. We hit a couple of one-back powers in there for some good gains, but a lot of those after the first couple of times, a lot of those were +1, 0. So we've got to do a better job of really finishing the block.
Dave, it's never easy, but now that you have a 4-3 instead of a 3-4 to go against, might that be a little easier for your guys?
Well, we've got about 50 practices under our belt, against 4-3, counting spring and camp. So, we're a little more familiar with it, no doubt.
Anything final?
How valuable is that film? And how receptive are the guys as they're watching it? How much do you think they're getting, okay, I understand, it is clear what happened?
Our game film?
Yeah.
Oh, I make it very crystal clear to them. I can guarantee you that. They know exactly. And really, I really don't have to, I have my moments, but I don't have to go in and just rip their ass, It's like, okay, let's play, nobody sits in the locker room and says, how can I screw this up today? They see what the mistakes are, okay? Okay, and sometimes you look at it, and, it's like, man, he got his ass kicked. Okay, yeah, he did, okay, or you did. So here's the question, why did that happen? Okay, look at your first step here, Nolan. Look at your hands here, Gabe. Okay, it all comes down to the bottom line, which is fundamentals, okay? How play with the base, move your feet on contact, strike a moving target, and finish. And then the technique and really the how-to, and ultimately that's what it comes down to every play, good or bad, So they're very receptive to it, and we had a everyone was disappointed, me included, and but it's like, okay, and I told them early in the week, I said, we're not running a 100-yard dash, okay? It's a marathon. Same thing I told them, I say the same shit all the time, okay, as you guys are finding out, okay? But that's what it is, it's repetition. I said the same thing last year, we're not, when we got ready to play Albany, I said, fellas, we're running a marathon, okay? We got 12 guaranteed. This is the first one. Win it, flush it, we got to get ready for Ohio. Lose it, flush it, we got to get ready for Ohio. Do we want to win it? Damn right we do. Okay, everyone put a lot of hard work into that. But we've got 11 more guaranteed. So, we're running a marathon, and I think we'll just get better and better. And I'm excited about their attitude. I'm excited about the resolve that they showed during the game. And again, as I said, I think it's a great stepping off point for us and a great learning experience.